What's up, guys? It's your boy Jason Davis here with another episode of Frame Within a Frame, and we're here to talk about this latest video with Hassan Campbell, or as I like to call him, Hassan Rambles, because boy, he can go. So recently he got into it with Kwame Brown. I guess they had a one-on-one live, and he didn't like the way things went after Kwame did not accept his apology. And in return, he does a 2-hour ramble of pure shenanigans. Okay, and this is the most gangster stuff I've ever heard in my life, and I've heard quite a bit. You know, as someone who did 7 years in the big house and have been around all kinds of niggardry, I have heard everything possible, everything that the human imagination can come up with. But this kind of took the cake. This was like the Expendables. Okay, a hood equalizer, the ghetto John Wick. I mean, he was clapping so many people and slapping so many people. I truly thought that the pandemic was over and we were in the movies because it was that elaborate. However, I have to say that honestly, I actually believe this guy. I believe him. And I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. The first one is not as important as the second one. Okay, so the reason number 1 is because Hassan has been on the internet for quite a long time. I used to watch him. I was subscribed to him a few years ago, at least 3 years ago. So I'm assuming he had to have been on at least maybe a year or so before that. And he hasn't changed. You know, he has been a self-proclaimed gangster the whole time, and no one has really come out and said otherwise or proved otherwise, that he is not doing these things or he's not capable of doing these things. And so until that occurs, you just got to take the man at his word. But the second reason, and this is the most important one, is because of his past. We know that he was, I guess you could say it was sexually abused because he was like a teenager at the time. He was like 16 years old or something like that. So I don't know if you can call it, you know, child molestation or not. And that's not the point of this video. But we all know that this occurred, right? And it is my theory that afterwards he was so distraught and disappointed in himself. See, a lot of times we make bad decisions, and that's one of the reasons that I created this channel. 1 was to talk about decision making amongst Black men, especially younger Black men, and 2 is early family development and how that affects you as an adult. But he made a bad decision, and I believe he regretted that decision. And this is not the movies. This is not Back to the Future. There's no DeLorean. You cannot go back into the past and change what has already occurred. And I think that's what he wanted to do. But he was stuck with this decision. He was stuck with it. He had to live with what happened between him and African Bambaataa. And I think that that disappointment himself led to possibly depression, which then led to anger. He couldn't go back and change what happened, so the only thing he could do was change what was happening going forward. And so what do? You start to lash out, right? He's upset with himself because of what he did with this man, and the only thing that he can do is lash out at other people, at other men that are coming to him in the future, right? That depression turned to anger. This man was questioning pretty much his own masculinity, and rightfully so, because of what happened. And he's stuck with this decision. He's pissed. Probably not more so with Bambaataa, but he is pissed at himself for letting this situation happen, something that he cannot erase from the history books, and people know about it. People, I'm sure the people locally knew about it at the time. Whether they were ignoring it or not, they knew it was occurring. And what kind of reputation does that give a man on the street, right? And so all that did was just fuel this man's anger. And he's displacing this anger. He's displacing this anger that he has with Bambaataa, and he's displacing this anger that he has with himself and taking it out on other people. He's trying to make himself feel better. This is his coping mechanism. He's trying to make himself feel better about what happened and convince himself that he's a man. Convince himself that he is masculine. You see stuff like this all the time. And like I said, that's why you have to be careful about your decisions, because once you make it, it is concrete, it is done, and nothing you do in the future can change it. You can try to, do the opposite action, but you can't erase what happened. If you did somebody dirty, in the future, you can try to be kind to people, but you still can't erase that dirt. You can't wash it off. And this is the same exact thing. He let somebody pretty much steal his manhood from him. And so he tried to recreate his image of manhood. He tried to overcompensate for the lack thereof that he had previously by going all out and clapping and slapping people, right? Doing time and all this type of stuff that, he talks about that he has done in the past. He's overcompensating for the lack of masculinity that he showed at a time when he should have. Listen to what he says. He's still upset about this situation now. And there ain't nothing that can be done about it. And that's why I believe this guy, But I'm telling you all that you have to be careful about the decisions that you make, because once you put that decision into play, like I said, you cannot go backwards. Time machines, we don't have that kind of technology. Time machines don't exist, and you have to live with that decision for the rest of your life. And Hassan has to live with his. And I know he talks about the trolls being in his comments. That's going to happen. That's going to happen because, like I said, he cannot live, or he cannot change that decision. Learn from him. Listen to what he says and learn from this gentleman so that you do not go down that same path, not with the decision that he made specifically, but with just poor decision making. Y'all better leave that guy alone, because he might clap or slap you later, okay? Black John Wick, I'm telling you, he's coming for you. Kwame, you gave him the P.O. box number, okay? He's gonna mail those paws to your doorstep. Be careful. No, I'm just messing around like Kwame. And I don't have a problem with Hassan either. I don't know that man. Don't know him from Adam. But I'm just saying, learn from other people's mistakes. Hove did that, so hopefully you wouldn't have to go through that. This is Jason Davis again, Frame Within a Frame. I'll see you guys with the next shenanigans.